What do you think, Marty?
What? You care what I think? You must have hit your head pretty bad.
Stop fooling around, Marty. I'm serious. So what do you think? About everything?
Well, I think we're in deep shit. But to be honest, Ibn Wessler is in deeper shit.
Do you think he really murdered his brother? But why? And what does it have to do with Natasha and the threats?
Doesn't add up yet. Something's missing. Let's visit the institution and try to find out what we can about this Albert Wessler fella.
Exactly. If he's the dead body, we've got to know what the motive was. If we can't, and if he's still alive, we gotta ask him directly.
And what do you think, Sonny?
I think Ibn, Albert, and Natasha are the three key players in this case, and that all of it has something to do with the brothel.
And the fact that Natasha used to be a courtesan?
Yeah, that too.
Listen, Sonny, about Molly.
Oh, just forget it, Marty, okay? She's not part of my life anymore, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Forget it. Let's concentrate on the case, and on making it out alive, and helping Natasha, too.
Whatever you say, Boss Bird. So you think Natasha's really in danger?
It could be, or she could even be behind everything.
No, you don't believe that.
I'm not sure what I believe, Marty. Let's see. Things got mixed up at the brothel. Natasha used to work there, that's obvious, and Ibn wanted to keep that a secret. A secret, it seems, somebody else had to pay for. Died for that secret. Zip hid the body, but he kept the wristband. Who could it belong to? The dead body was almost certainly Albert Wessler, a resident of an insane asylum. But why did he have to die?
So where exactly is this place?
A few hours' drive from here, in the middle of nowhere. It's a creepy old mansion, of course.
You think it's a good idea to go there? What if it's a trap?
I told you, you can still go back.
Oh, wouldn't you love that? No such luck, boss. If I get killed or locked up forever in an insane asylum, that's gonna be on you.
Thanks, pal. I deserve that.
Still trust her?
I never trusted her, Marty.
I mean, you believe her?
I'm sure she was honestly afraid. People don't fake it that easy. But I can understand why she didn't tell us about her former profession.
Or how she knows Molly.
Yeah, that too. And the death of Deborah complicated things even more.
Hey, Sonny, she didn't seduce you, right? I mean, Natasha.
Ah, don't be stupid, Marty. My old ticker hasn't been beating for a long time. Not that way, anyway.
Yeah, all right, boss. So what do you think happened to the corpse?
Probably been eaten. Horrible to think about, but even if half of what they say about the hive is true, starvation, riots, arson, predation.
You're telling me. Makes my feathers stand on end when I think about what goes on in there. And we pretend we don't know about it. As if Roachtown isn't even part of Clawville.
This won't end well. I'm afraid soon Clawville's gonna burn once again, and because of its own foolishness.
Well, that's if another meat war doesn't break out first. 'Cause then, the whole wilderness will burn.
Lovely prospects, eh?
Either way, it was a damn clever move for Wessler to hide the body in Roachtown.
It's the only place no one will ever find it.
Like the belly of a burning ship.
Oh, I think that was an intentional red herring.
Sounds about right. Who'da thought? I believed that little rat. I thought he'd changed. Idiot.
There's a point when it's too late to change, Marty. His past caught up with him. Whatever he did since then doesn't matter.
Not much.
Exactly. And that's the case with us, too. That's why I won't back down, even though a voice in my head is screaming right now, leave it all to hell and have another drink.
Maybe we should do that.
Maybe we should.
Okay, so the picture is more or less clear. Ibn's got his brother killed because he learned Natasha worked in a brothel.
Well, that could be the case, but I believe the roots go deeper than that.
Which we'd only learn if we talk to him. I mean, if the corpse isn't him, because then we'd need a medium.
Which would be exciting, but maybe it's enough if we ask the doctor who treated him.
That too, yeah. But where's the fun in that?
A stack of papers. Just looking at them makes me think of Monica.
Hello. You've called the Let There Be Peace Forever mental institution for ill and damaged minds. What can I do for you, sir? Or madam?
Well, I'd like to inquire about a patient who I believe is being treated at your institution. His name is Albert Wessler.
I'm sorry, sir, but I can't give out that information if you don't have the password given to relatives. Do you have one?
Unfortunately, I don't have that. I'm not a relative. I'm calling from the Clawville Police Department.
Oh, I see. In that case, officer, I'd advise you to visit our institution personally. Our director and I would be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, miss. I guess I'll do that.
We'll welcome you with open arms, sir. Have yourself a beautiful, starlit night.
Oh, thanks. Goodbye.
See you soon.
So,
We have to go there.
the thought gives me goosebumps.
Chicken bumps aren't good enough for you?
Ha ha ha. So, I get the couch?
It'd be better if I called Lewis. He'll open up a room for you to sleep in.
Whew, great idea.
Hey, Lewis, it's me again.
Oh, hello, Sonny. What's up?
Were you sleeping, pal?
Me? Oh, I wasn't. Anyway, I'm always at your service.
Would you open up a room for Marty?
Naturally, Sonny.
Thanks, Lewis. I'm not even gonna say it.
I will. You owe me one. Adieu.
Yeah. Sorry for the mess, Marty. I rarely have visitors.
Don't worry about it, Sonny. I didn't expect anything else.
Thanks. I slept like I used to sleep years ago. Like a miner or a soldier. Empty. Dead tired. Then I saw Tessa. My darling little daughter. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't recall her face. I reached out to her, but she just kept getting further and further away. Then I saw Molly. But she wasn't real. Just the ghost of a memory. I'm here, I cried. But all I heard was laughter. Not hers. Who's there? Suddenly, she appeared. Natasha. Just stood there laughing. But her eyes were cold. Then she said something. Painted red. Painted red. Painted red. That was just a dream, Sonny. Nothing more. I looked at Marty and I saw the same thing in his eyes as he probably saw in mine. It's time to hit the brakes, to turn back, go home and forget about all of this. Of course, I stepped on the gas instead. Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything good, but this...
Ooh, just like a horror movie.
I was thinking the same.
Appearances can be deceiving.
Let's hope so. This picture...
It's very...
special?
Even if you manage to escape, there's nothing but hills and forests for 100 miles.
Imagine how many poor lunatic ghosts must haunt those woods.
Ooh, Sonny, you're creeping me out. This guy seems strangely familiar to me.
You don't say. You've been treated here too. That would explain a lot.
Oh, don't be stupid. I'm serious. Take a closer look.
No.
Well?
No, it can't be. Are you telling me it's him? M.B. Davis himself?
I'm sure of it, pal. It seems the gossip was true. The eternal king of jazz in a madhouse.
Oh, no. Poor devil. We should go to reception first. Let them know we're here.
Ah, like an angel from heaven, isn't she?
Yeah, half of her's still up there, I think.
That's rude.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Of all the great wild ones.
Greetings, miss.
Is it really you?
Well, yes.
Yes, it really is you. The chicken police.
I'm afraid so.
Of all that's furry and plumey, that's fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Miss, we'd like to ask...
Please, don't be scared. I'm just really excited. You know, I've read every book about you and your adventures, and I even collected newspaper articles when I was a little girl.
Indeed.
You can't imagine what an honor it is to meet you in person.
We really...
Oh God. Take a deep breath, Miranda. Take a deep breath.
Are you okay, miss?
Yes, I am. I just needed some air. So, dear detectives, Santino and Martin, what can I do for you?
Well, miss, we have some questions, if you don't mind.
I'd love to answer all of your questions, detectives.
Say, miss, what can you tell us about this place?
Our institution was standing even before the Great Meat War, and during the war, it was transformed into a military hospital. Since then, we're relentlessly working on treating injured minds under the leadership of Dr. Quetzal, the famous specialist.
The place seems pretty empty. Do many people work here?
We have 32 residents and 7 nurses, including me. We also have a 3-person maintenance and cleaning staff, and, of course, the heart and soul of our institution, Dr. Quetzal himself.
I see. Now, this Dr. Quetzal, is he the director here?
Exactly. Director, scientist, researcher, patron, and doctor. And even a friend.
Quite a guy.
He certainly is.
So who is this Dr. Quetzal exactly?
He's a world-famous researcher of the mind, Mr. Featherland. He published countless books in the fields of psychology and psychotherapy.
Psycho... what?
Unraveling the mind. It's the most crucial mission of the century, Mr. McChicken.
That's really good to know.
So this doctor's some celebrity, right? Does he usually meet, other important persons?
I'm not sure I know what you mean.
Well, like, Mr. Hobart Wessler, for example.
Ah, yes. That's something you should ask the doctor himself, but unfortunately, I don't think he has time right now.
He's swamped, is he?
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. He is very busy. All the time.
I thought so. Now, what can you say about this, miss? Have you, seen anything like it?
Of course. Our residents wear these for identification. But how did you come by it? They only wear them inside the institution.
Huh, I see.
The wristband does belong to one of our residents, but I'm afraid I'm not allowed to tell you more due to regulations.
Oh, come on, Miranda. It's us, the chicken police.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Miranda, this case is a matter of life and death. Lives are in your hands.
All right. I'll do it. Albert Wessler. The patient's name is Albert Thaddeus Wessler.
Figures. Just as we thought.
Thank you, Miranda. We'll never forget this.
Please, don't make me blush. And don't tell anyone you heard it from me.
Oh, we won't. I promise.
So when can we talk to Mr. Wessler?
I need to ask Dr. Quetzal. Please wait here.
Thank you.
Dr. Quetzal will see you. He's waiting for you in his office. Up the stairs, all the way down the hall, until the last door.
What a surprise. It's enough to mention Wessler's name and all the doors are open.
I wouldn't want to get mixed up in this, but do you think Albert is in danger?
Danger? What do you mean?
We haven't heard from him since he disappeared, and we're really, really worried.
I see. We don't know yet, miss, but let's hope for the best.
Great wild ones protect him.
Where is he?
No idea, Marty.
The smell of all that's furry. I'll never get used to it.
Well, reptiles have a disgusting body odor, Marty, but they feel exactly the same about us.
Exactly. Great wild ones, you scared the hell out of me.
I already sensed your arrival from afar. You know, snakes have a different sense of smell, and birds used to be our prey once upon a time.
Well, yeah. Luckily, we're living in civilized times.
Lucky. Please take a seat. How can I help you, gentlemen?
An isle of reason in a sea of insanity.
Insanity is such a strong word, and it's mostly an abstract idea. Where does insanity start, and how long is one not insane? Interesting questions. Am I normal, or are you? Maybe neither of us.
You see, that's something I think about a lot nowadays.
If you like, I can give you an appointment.
Oh, this is your chance, Sonny. Don't miss it. We're already here.
Marty, cluck up. Your office is rather Puritan. Simple, I mean.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, yes. I can't let my mind wander from my work. I only keep what's essential in my office.
I see. That makes sense. Why do you have bars on your windows?
Because it's a room like all the others, and I'm just an animal too, like all our residents.
With the significant difference of you being a doctor and not a patient, am I right?
It's not as big of a difference as you'd think.
A snake. I can't help it, but they make my feathers stand on end.
To be honest, gentlemen, your visit is anything but a surprise. I could even say I was expecting it.
What an introduction.
Please forgive me. I have the bad habit of immediately getting into the middle of things. How very rude of me. My name is Dr. Sessuous Quetzalcoatl, but most call me Dr. Quetzal to keep it simple.
The name is Santino Featherland, and this is my partner, Martin McChicken, from
the Predatory Division of the Clawville Police Department. Your fame is one step ahead of you.
We're used to it.
Certainly.
We have some questions about one of your patients, if you don't mind. We'd like to talk to him, if that's possible.
Please be specific, Detective.
Look, Doctor, we're too tired to play cat and mouse. Not that snake and chicken sounds any better.
Very funny, I must say. Just what I expected from you two detectives.
We know you know it's about Albert Wessler, Ibn Wessler's secret twin. Ever since we've said his name, all the doors have miraculously opened. That's what we call a bullseye.
Well, yes, why should I deny it? We're talking about a rather illustrious patient here, who's also a very particular medical case.
Now, that's much more interesting. So, are you willing to talk about him?
Because Albert, regrettably, has
Not even if it's a matter of life and death?
Everything's a matter of life and death in here, Detective. This is a hospital, even if it's primarily for the mind, not the body.
Still, I'd like to give the impossible a try.
Please, Detective, just do your job, and I'll do mine.
How long was Albert a resident of the institution?
For quite some time, his first symptoms surfaced in his teens. Depression, panic attacks, and schizophrenia.
Was he brought here immediately after the first signs that something wasn't right?
You know, the biggest problem with an opinion on insanity is that animals are ashamed of it. That's the reason our institution stands out here in the middle of nowhere.
Because animals would rather hide what they're afraid to face.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
As far as I know, the Wessler family wasn't exceptionally wealthy.
Indeed, they were rather poor, but we offer our services gratis.
Then how do you sustain yourselves?
By the grace of the treasury of King Hector III, of course.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
My family and the royal dynasty had always been on good terms, Mr. Santino.
What kind of a place is this exactly? I assume it wasn't built as an insane asylum.
It used to be a mansion. Construction started during the occupation in 622. Then it stood empty for almost a century, until finally it went to the crown of Clawville when Hector's great-grandfather took the throne. The rest is history.
How long have you been working here?
I've worked here for more than 30 years, but it's been in my family's possession for almost 150 years.
So if I count correctly, as soon as it went to the crown, it was seized by your family.
That's almost accurate, Mr. Featherland.
What a lovely inheritance. Tell me, Doctor, do you know Madame Zavas?
Just like everybody else, I've heard of her, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her in person. I'm sure she's an interesting case.
Oh, you can be sure about that. I'd gladly get you two together if I had the chance. A spare cell would suit her very much.
Is that so?
As it turns out, she likes small, narrow, secret places.
Oh, I see. What a coincidence.
Dr. Quetzal's a real mystery. But I can turn that to my advantage. I just need to focus on the strangest pieces of the puzzle. So when did Albert become a resident of your institute?
Albert and Hobart, or Ibn as you call him, arrived here almost exactly 4 years ago.
Could you describe that day more specifically?
It was not long after New Year's Eve, maybe the first week of the year, if I'm not mistaken. It was sleeting that day. Wind was banging incessantly on the windows. The power was going out for short periods of time.
What was your first impression of them?
I already knew the Wessler name. I knew who they were. Or at least I knew one of them, Hobart Wessler. He was famous. Gangster, moneylender, celebrity, lover.
And Albert?
He was new to me, an invisible gray ghost. The family had tried to keep his existence a secret.
Why?
Because they were ashamed of him, of course, Mr. Featherland. That's how it usually is.
What was your first impression of him?
He was silent, but observed everything that surrounded him. His eyes were constantly moving, never stopped for a second.
Was he afraid?
I wouldn't say so. It seemed to me that he wanted to move into our institution voluntarily. It looked as if he couldn't wait to be here, alone, locked up in silence and darkness.
Didn't you think of that as unusual?
Of course I did, but who am I to judge? It was rather special treatment.
What kind of special treatment did Albert get?
You know, if an institution like ours has to accept a Wessler as a guest, there's bound to be some favoritism.
And complete secrecy, I guess.
Yes, but that's the case for all our patients, Mr. Featherland.
Of course. So in what way did he receive more than the others?
Basically, we don't admit anyone into our institution without a complete and thorough prior assessment. In the case of Albert, we put that aside.
So you didn't even know if he had anything wrong with him?
Initially, no. He was more of a guest than a patient.
How did you see Albert when you first met?
Albert was shy and reserved, like a ghost. He almost never touched anything. It was evident he was exceptionally intelligent. He measured and observed everything around him.
What else?
He was delicate and graceful, almost like a woman. Yes. He was rather feminine. He was an artist, Mr. Featherland, a magnificent painter, and rather good writer, too. Sometimes I even heard him sing.
And why did he have to be locked up?
I asked the same thing at first.
Are you telling me Albert had multiple personalities?
We found out very quickly that there was no other reason for the cause of his seizures. He had a cold and calculating personality who sometimes, especially on stormy days, took the reins over their shared mind.
He had these seizures from the beginning.
Yes, Mr. Featherland, but they started to intensify after Albert left our institution for the first time.
He did what? Left the institution? More than once?
Oh, yes, Mr. Featherland. Albert left the institution on several occasions until the last time, when he failed to come back.
Quetzal's not only very observant, but he's addicted to details. I must focus on that if I want to get closer to the truth. Focus. Addicted to details. You're keeping some things from me, am I right?
I can only answer the questions you ask.
You just avoided giving an answer.
Such insight. Not bad for a rooster.
Thank you. So?
Albert was working on a painting commissioned by his brother, Hobart Wessler.
Was it of a woman named Natasha by any chance?
Exactly.
Did Albert tell you how he felt about the painting?
From the first moment he loved it. He was fascinated by it. But who could blame him? A little diversity, fresh air, a beautiful lady, and of course, on top of all that, he could finally do what he loved best: paint.
Which could be a surprisingly effective therapy.
It could have been. Unfortunately, these excursions have greatly intensified his seizures. They have become more frequent and extreme.
So Albert left on many occasions to continue working on the painting.
Exactly, Mr. Featherland. Every time he came back, he was like a different person. But unfortunately, his seizures also multiplied and became more dangerous.
More dangerous?
Albert was hurting himself. And on one occasion, he even tried to hurt me. It was unprecedented. It seemed his confined personality was taking over their shared mind entirely, piece by piece.
Do you think the painting caused it?
Not the painting, Mr. Featherland.
But its subject.
Exactly. He was obsessed, right until that fateful day when he returned to us for the last time.
What exactly happened that day, Doctor?
It wasn't Hobart who brought his brother back that day, but two of his gorillas. Not literally, I mean. And Albert was in a terrible, terrible state.
What happened to him?
I don't like to talk about that, Mr. Featherland.
It could be vital to the case, Dr. Quetzal. Don't back down.
Oh, you're right. There's no use turning back now. So, Albert's tongue was torn out, or cut off, I don't know exactly, and he was blinded in one eye, or rather, one of his eyes was missing entirely.
So you're saying Albert was brought back horribly mutilated?
Yes. And they didn't give any explanation as to what had happened. They simply told me it was some kind of accident. accident.
Dr. Quetzal is cold and professional, but he's also very confused. Maybe it's cruel, but I must exploit his vulnerability if I want to learn everything about Albert. Focus, confused. Maybe it's not easy for you to talk about it, but did you examine his wounds thoroughly?
I'm not that kind of doctor, Mr. Featherland, but even I could determine his tongue was either cut out or bitten off, and his eye was gouged out. He also had several broken bones.
But there's no doubt it wasn't an accident.
I don't believe it was, Mr. Featherland.
I totally agree. Concentrate, Doctor. What do you think happened to Albert?
I'm sure it was Hobart. He ordered his men to mutilate poor Albert.
But why would he do that?
Maybe Albert saw something he could accidentally reveal.
To whom? The four walls? A couple of crazies? You?
To anyone, Mr. Featherland.
I don't think it's that simple, Doctor. But thank you for your honest opinion.
You're welcome, Detective.
What happened then? How did Albert disappear?
A few weeks later, Hobart came to visit Albert one more time. Albert had been in terrible condition by then. We even had to transfer him to another cell, a more safe one.
What did Hobart do during the visit?
He didn't do anything. He just sat and watched his brother, who was in an almost vegetative state by then.
Couldn't you manage to draw anything out of him? You or Hobart?
Nothing. For a while, he was trying to signal something. Perhaps he was too afraid. And most likely his fingers had been broken too, so he couldn't even write.
Do you think Hobart could have killed Albert?
It's horrible to say it, but I'm sure of it.
How did he disappear in the end? Did someone come for him?
That's what's most eerie about it all, Mr. Featherland. He simply disappeared. His door, which only I had a key for, was open.
Did anyone see anything?
No one. We interrogated the staff, even the patients. He simply vanished off the face of the wilderness. We don't know what happened to him.
Unfortunately, I have a hunch. Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be of help. But please, I now must attend to my work.
We understand, Doctor. Thank you. That's quite shocking information.
I think you understand why we kept it a secret. If it wasn't for Mr. Wessler's demand, we'd never let any of our patients walk freely outside our institution.
Then the accident happened.
Accident? Ha! We didn't believe it, not for a second. After Albert came back to us, horribly mutilated, He was different.
Different how?
If someone got one of his eyes poked out and his tongue torn out, he'd be different, but not like this. Albert was a different person.
We believe you, Doctor. So, can we take a look at Albert's cell?
I'd rather call it his room. Mr. Wessler lived in exceptional circumstances.
Thanks to the Wessler name, I guess.
Yes. Well, we try to make all of our patients stay as comfortable as possible, but Albert certainly enjoyed special favoritism.
I hope you don't mind if we take a look around in there.
That's not going to bother anyone.
Well, that's, surprising.
I've never seen a cell like this before, that's for sure. I wouldn't mind living here myself.
It seems that being a Wessler gets you privileges.
And a healthy dose of danger.
Mostly that, yeah. Let's take a good look around. I'm sure we'll find some answers here. I can almost smell them.
Well, I smell paint, ink, plaster, some kind of oil, aging paper, slight smell of rat, and great expectations.
What the dickens?
Unmistakable. Yeah.
This place is bad for you, pal. But if you've already jump-started your beak holes, then sniff out the solution.
I'm on it, Boss Bird.
Identical twins. And looking at it, they may have easily loved the same woman. 2 men and 1 woman. Nothing good ever comes of that.
Well, I wouldn't say that exactly.
Of all the wild ones, Marty, please, stitch up your beak, okay?
Just use your imagination, old bird.
Look at that. A letter.
No way. Is this some kind of puzzle?
I don't think so. But we could still find something important here. A pattern, a sign, anything. A small window, a small hope. The style, it's very familiar to me.
You've been lonely for far too long, huh?
Not funny, Marty.
It is, a little. You know, I don't think he had it so bad in here.
You mean apart from being separated from everyone you love in an ancient mansion filled with madmen?
You're right.
As always. Albert was madly in love with Natasha and would have done anything for her. I'm afraid he did exactly that. What do you make of this?
Apart from the fact the guy was totally insane? I don't know. What should I?
That maybe we've been chasing the wrong person all this time, Marty.
What do you mean?
Everything will be revealed soon.
Why do you have to be so melodramatic all of a sudden?
If I'm right, this'll flip the whole case upside down.
What's that, Sonny? A blurb from some horrible novel?
I just have to think things through before I come to any hasty conclusions, Marty.
Ugh, you're killing me. So, what now? Where to?
Back to Clawville, where we can finally put all the pieces together.
You're driving me crazy. But all right, let's go home.
What can you tell us about the woman in the photo we saw in Albert's room?
Do you mean Miss Natasha Katsenko? Well, yes. I don't know much about her, but everyone heard her name and her voice around here.
Did she ever visit this place?
Never. But if you ask me, Natasha probably didn't even know Albert was a resident of our institution.
And Albert, did he mention her often?
Constantly. It was obvious he had an affection for Miss Katsenko, but I wouldn't have thought for a moment he could escape because of her.
I wouldn't jump ahead, Doctor. Something else could be behind Albert's disappearance.
Do you think so? All the signs clearly indicate this.
Maybe they do, Doctor, but in my line of work, logic's not always the best advisor.
In 99% of cases.
Exactly. But this one typically belongs to the remaining 1%.
If you say so. Farewell, Miranda, dear. Lovely to meet you.
So, you'll remember my name?
Marty McChicken never forgets, ma'am.
Oh,
Furry gods. Let's go. Goodbye, miss. It was a pleasure.
goodbye, gentlemen, and happy investigating.
I'm sure it'll be fun.
If there's anything I can help you with, please just ask.
Thank you, Miranda. You've already helped enough. Oh, I don't believe this. Those two again?
Take him out. My car won't last much longer.
Don't worry, Sonny. I was born to do this.
Concentrate, Marty, for the God's sake.
Can you drive like you're not a fucking lunatic?
Shut up and shoot, you big feather pillow. Are you blind or what? Where did you learn to shoot?
Whew. Well, that was close.
A little too close for my taste, and it only strengthens my belief. Wessler is desperate. He knows if we survive, he's done for.
Well, come on, what did work out? Will you tell me already?
Sure. Let's put the picture together, piece by piece. Let's start from the beginning. So, we got a case. Natasha tried to show us the painting. And that painting would have shown us the way. Ruben and Albert Wessler. Albert painted Natasha, so he met her on more than one occasion. Which made Albert fateful night, he killed his brother so he could take his place in secret and win Natasha's heart.
So what happens now?
The inevitable, Marty. We're going to the Wessler mansion to confront Ibn with the facts.
You mean Albert, right?
Yeah, exactly. And of course, Natasha.
Do you think she knew about it?
Something stinks, Marty. The whole case seems too intricate.
Too many coincidences, right?
Well, after 10 years, you did learn something, didn't you?
9.
You're right.
Huh.
What?
You just laughed, Sonny.
What? No, I snorted.
No, you laughed.
Ah, just leave it, Marty.
I'll be telling this to my grandchicks.
All right, pal, that's enough.
Okay. So, Albert fell madly in love with Natasha and decided to have her for himself.
And his best chance was to trade places with Ibn Wessler.
So that's why the torn out tongue.
Yeah, Ibn couldn't squeal even if he wanted to.
What a diabolical plan.
More like insane.
But why the messages then? Why the threats? Albert got what he wanted. He could have got away with it.
I'm not a psychologist, Marty, but remember what the doctor told us. Albert has a seriously injured mind and a split personality. I think his two identities were at war with each other.
So the messages were written by one of his personalities, consumed by jealousy?
Something like that, Marty, but we can only learn the whole truth from him.
You're right. So, are we going or what?
We're going, Marty, to finally finish what we started.
Well, if there's anything you'd like to do before, do it now, boss. You won't have a chance later.
You're right, Marty. It's time to wrap everything up.